everybody, it's Spinja, and I'm back with another episode with Surviving with Spinja. And I have my guest today. Her name is Susan Long, and I have talked to her a few times on Facebook, but it's actually my interdimensional exit buddy that brought her presence into my life. And she just I know like some of her story, and there was just a lot of things that I thought was really fascinating about her. Um, she has I'm trying to find out about different healing modalities and stuff. And so when she sent me the description of her services, it's like, oh wow. So I saw there's Reiki, you've got some Dolores Cannon knowledge, and then you also make your own health products as well. So I'm going to hand the mic over to Susan, and if you want to tell us about yourself, would love to hear about how you got started. Anything you would like to share, much appreciated.
Um, I'm a retired police officer and detective, and actually, my love of herbal products and natural remedies started back then. Because if you had to take a Benadryl, you'd write a memo, and I hate paperwork, so I learned how to started doing things by myself. But I've been a lot more serious with it lately because now I make things to sell, and a lot of things were need based, like one of my clients was having restless leg syndrome, so I made some magnesium oil. So I'm researching that and making magnesium cream. And then, somebody else had, like, I myself have back pain, and I wanted the juniper ginger recipe from Tyler, and that one's really good, but I call it Three Wise Men, and that one's pretty good for nerve pain. And I do have some of those in my shop right now. And so that one, some people use right after surgery because they don't usually give you anything that's good for pain anyway. And it's got ormus in it too, because it's got 7 herbs, 7 butters. It's got frankincense, myrrh, 2 types of cinnamon, yerba santa, juniper berries, ginger. Of course, you got frankincense, myrrh, ormus, RSO, CBD, 7 butters, and vitamin E, and beeswax in it. And then, like, everything's natural. And then I started doing mushroom tinctures. I had started these 8 weeks ago. And this is my master here, because I did a double infusion. This is lion's mane, turkey tail, and cordyceps. And you can see the good stuff. I have to, because first I did the alcohol tincture, and that has to sit. I usually let all the tinctures sit for 8 weeks, and then I had to do the decoction because you had to strain all the mushroom pieces out, and then you do decoction, and then you add some more mushrooms. And some people will boil that down till it's a third on top of the stove, but I like crock pots, so I put it in the crock pot in the Instapot. And then I also had I love my Instapot. I can tell you how to decarb stuff with that. You can see this is the stuff from the water decoction that's on the bottom. So it's actually makes it a full spectrum. And this is reishi, and they call that the mushroom of immortality. And then I did the reishi labels. Super cute. For reishi.
Oh, cool.
I even do my own labels and stuff. And here's the lion's mane one, and those are going to be in my Divine Boutique Etsy shop. But the reishi, it's the mushroom for immortality. It boosts immunity, promotes restful sleep, fights fatigue, and reduces stress. I did try that one. I got to try this other, my 3 one, because that's lion's mane, turkey tail, and cordyceps. And it says that lion's mane mushroom has an important compound such as beta-glucans, known for tumor protecting, immune boosting, and brain protective properties. May also play a role in protecting against diseases such as Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. And the turkey tail, also called the mushroom of several colors, it's one of the most popular medicinal because it boosts your immunity and is said to fight cancer cells. Also promotes gut health, which we can all use gut health because I know a lot of TIs are hit in their gut and their
Yep.
colon to make you extra sick. And then cordyceps is called the caterpillar mushroom. It's known for increasing energy production inside the cells. May protect from allergies and boost lung health. Also, got maitake and shiitake ones to do, but I haven't done those yet. But yeah, I was really excited about those because I've been doing like, pain salves, things for I don't do too many beauty things, but there was a rose petal and honeysuckle, and the honeysuckle helps tighten your skin a little bit. Then I made the frankincense and myrrh, and frankincense and myrrh has a certain vibration. Some people like the smell, some don't. It smells like church to me. If you're a Catholic. And then so basically, here's mullein and marshmallow, and this one's ready for me to strain and decant it because I had this one June 15th. So we're a little overdue for that one, but that's fine. It'll just make it more potent.
Nice.
See how green that is?
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
The marshmallow is good for the inflammation. The mullein will, help with the runny nose part. So that's good for allergies. And then I just put those in little 1 ouncers. And what else was I making? Oh, I wanted to make some oils for like older skin. And I made some with frankincense and myrrh. One has olive oil and the other has coconut. And I put ormus in them. I'm curious to try the ormus ones. I haven't put that one in the salve yet, but I'm getting ready to set those tonight. And then got some, I got to decant. I need more jars. This is rosemary and lavender hair oil. Obviously, I didn't put any in my hair today. It's a little frizzy. And yes, here is the frankincense and myrrh with the ormus. See how pretty that is? That's infused oil. And then I put some essential oils in there too, but
Oh.
and then I've got a sun porch, and I have a peony one going that I started with coconut oil. They just look really pretty when they're in the jar, some of these. But everything was kind of like mead based. So I don't even have any pictures of the magnesium oil, but I have little magnesium oils about this size. I think they're 2 ounce ones. And then I'm going to be making those later tonight. I got to do more of my 4 ounce magnesium creams. I love those because people are like, what do I do with the magnesium? Like, you got a cramp, put magnesium on it. Head hurts, put magnesium on it. Pulls your neck, put magnesium on it. They're like, what? I said, yeah. And I don't know, but it seems like so many people are magnesium deficient when I'm doing massage, or their muscles are super tight, especially if they're over 40. But if you take the magnesium, you have to remember to take your potassium too. Shoot, I don't know. What else did you want to talk about?
Oh, yeah, no. I'm just so new question. So if somebody purchased the mushroom tincture, for example, how would they use it?
Well, basically, you're just going to I have like a little shot glass, and I'll take it out, and I'll take it's got directions on it, 2 to 4 little drops, and put it in there so you can see all the medicine that's in there. You want to shake it up really good, and then this one's over full, and then do like 2 to 4 of those. But I put them in juice, or just put in water, because you have to remember that that's, tinctures are either water or glycerin, which would make it a glycerite. But yeah, tinctures are alcohol, and it's going to have a bite to it. So.
Okay. Yeah, see, I know nothing about tinctures other than they help.
So and like the mushroom tinctures, you have to do those with Everclear, because you need the highest proof alcohol to pull more of the nutrients and stuff out of the good stuff. out of your mushrooms and things like on a marshmallow. I can do that. There's 80 proof alcohol, so I just 80 proof vodka is in here. So I'll just go get whatever the cheap vodka is to do that. I don't need to go get Tito's to do a tincture, and then different like I don't like grapeseed oil because I tried to make some massage oil with it and it just stained the heck out of my sheets. But I will use avocado, coconut, vitamin E, shea, mango, and things like that in the salves just to make them creamier. Because I don't like them feeling greasy. I don't like greasy things.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because then I'll
Yeah.
feel like I have to wash my hands. It's just a lot of like hurry up and wait because I'll do this and get it all together and then I gotta go print my labels and put my directions on and all that stuff. And then I gotta go do it. It's a pain in the ass being self-employed, but it's kind of nice that I'm sitting there in the morning, drink my coffee. Okay, well now we gotta do a video on this thing on CapCut. Somebody asked me for a picture last night and it was late, so I was feeling pretty good and I was like, oh, I got in CapCut and I was ready to do something else, and then I was like, oh, I'm gonna do funny videos now. I'm in here. And I totally forgot to send her the picture for the podcast. I'm like, oops, I messed up. So,
all good.
but the videos were funny. I'm like, damn, I forgot I made this one. This one's really good. I like the ones that are funny or just grab your attention, because I had one where what it had some weird music in one of my local clients it's like, Susan, what's with the laser beams coming out of your eyes? And I said I was hoping he'd look at it and start laughing. I was like, life sucks and it's fucking painful, but I said most advertisements are like boring. So at least if it grabs my attention, it's got some jamming music, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting.
You have my attention.
but yeah, I'm like, we gotta make some stuff fun because painting all this other shit sucks. That's what was it? One of my friends was looking at my Etsy shop and she's like, you don't have any spells over your shop. I was like, no, why would I need any? She's like, because some people's stuff I look at and she's like, they've done stuff to it. And I said, no, I'm just like, oh, making my products for the highest good, heal. I hope they feel super awesome and they heal exponentially quicker, And I said, I'm not gonna buy this or else, bitch, because I'm making Okay, I'm getting slap happy now. It's been a long week already. It's only Wednesday.
It's all good. No, I like this, but don't get me started. Then we'll get going. We were talking about this last night. We figured this was how it's going to go, right? So I'll try to get us back on track. And I think that's half the fun with my shows. I love like the guests that I find. Like I try to, like, we end up just having a giggle fest and smiling and having fun, and sometimes we get off topic, and that's just the part of the charm, right? But I am super curious though about the other aspects of your business with the Reiki and especially Dolores Cannon. I like, and those are like her modality and like and then Reiki. Those are two things that I've been looking into, like trying to find out more information, especially for Don, because of like trying to help him heal some of his past trauma, and then the physical parts of it too. I don't know if I'll just say he was in a motorcycle accident when he was 25, and he's had to have a knee replacement, and then he lost a quarter of your calf,
1/8
1/8 of his calf, and he still suffers from a lot of pain and discomfort. And so that's actually um, my awakening journey actually started out as looking for healing modalities to see if I could send him in the right direction or train myself. So that's how so anything like if you want to talk about like a session with you, like do you combine um I would love to hear it.
I was just thinking, and I'm like, is that his hip? Because I'm like seeing the back of a man's pelvis, and like the right hip is, you have a crack or something?
I
I
walked
have to
with a
cross
gait because of the accident, and it
on the
shifted my.
right side. On the right side.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's why I'm like looking all around because I'm trying to remote view. I'm like, what's good? Because I can feel your pain in your hip, and I'm like, oh shit, that's Don. Okay, all right.
That was good.
Because
You
I'm
think
just getting a picture of the male hip, and I could see, this the top, and it's cracked in here. Okay, because you're talking about the calf, and I'm like, oh no, it starts higher.
oh yeah. It's a wonder he's here.
I was never supposed to walk again.
Yeah, I can see that. And I got chills. Okay. Well, yeah, I learned Reiki just because when I was a police officer detective, I didn't realize that I realized when I was a rookie that I had energy that would calm people, especially I would always get all the rape victims, swear to God. It was like they had to be mine for some reason, which was pretty traumatizing. But I also started reading about Reiki because I didn't know what this energy was coming out of my hands. So yeah, I was that weird cop that had been a hippie before I was carrying crystals. I'm like just stuff for negative energy and other stuff. And I was like, oh, this stuff's called Reiki. So then after I was done with policing, um, I kind of was trying to figure out what to do. And then I wanted to get into physical therapy, but that was another 8 years of college and a lot of money. And I thought, well, what else can I do that's like that? And they're like, well, massage therapy, you can do a lot of John Barnes stuff and different things. And I was like, I think I like this. Because that's what I was all interested in, the pain relieving properties. So I took advanced massage therapy school out east. And on the weekends, I started going to Reiki classes. And then one of my other friends was teaching Reiki. So I don't even remember. Was it Usui what I learned first? And then, because I'm a Holy Fire and Usui Reiki Master teacher, because somebody asked me about the tones in Karuna, I'm like, I'm not a Karuna Reiki Master. But I've had Reiki from a Karuna Reiki Master, but she didn't use tones or anything. But I'll use singing bowls and stuff where there's really stuck energy, because that'll move stuff, which is kind of neat. And this is another weird thing I figured out. Like when I have the singing bowl, and say your throat chakra is closed or your heart chakra, and I go over there, when I'm pulling the ball from the mallet thing around, and kind of stick like a pencil eraser where the energy's stuck till you get
Oh,
it moving. So you really have to push it in there, but then it like blast the crap like plaque off their chakra or whatever. There's so many different ways you can use energy. You can use sound. And then sometimes I'll catch myself even humming when I'm doing stuff, and I didn't realize I'm. And nobody taught me that. And a lot of it's like I was reading something else. Like sometimes when I'm trying to get deeper into the pain, I'll be stomping my foot on the floor trying to ground more and pulling more energy down. And that wasn't, because they're like, what are you doing? I said, that is what I was doing. And then when I took the Holy Fire Reiki Master upgrade, that was really weird because all the other ones, we would, it was Friday through Sunday, 8 hours each day, um, where we'd have to read our book, um, meditate, then they come and, put the on you. But with Holy Fire, they didn't want us that's how my teacher was. Didn't want us to use any symbols except for the holy fire symbol and the Daiko and Mayo, the master symbol, and that was it. So, but there was this weird like specter behind me. That place was haunted because I remember sitting there and meditating. Basically, all we did was meditate for 3 days, and I don't remember which day it was, but I'm there and I could see myself sitting in lotus position. And I'm doing weird mudras. I mean, I don't even know what they meant, and I'm floating midair around the room while everybody else has their eyes closed, meditating. Well, I started doing that. I'm like, okay, this is weird. Then I was in a ship, and I was going to different planets and asteroids and picking up SSP people who wanted to be healed because somehow my Reiki class was going to be connected to something where I'm going to be picking up soldiers and taking them where we were taking them to be healed, and then we'd take them home to Earth or wherever they wanted to go to after their time was done. I don't know when we're going to be doing this, but that was what I saw back. Shoot, how many years ago was that? It was quite a while ago. And I was just in my ship by myself. But also, I remember this was really weird because I didn't know this girl in the class. She's sitting there, and I was supposed to give her some Reiki. And when I stood in front of her, and she's sitting on a chair, all of a sudden, you remember the green and yellow matrix computer code?
Yeah.
It's coming
Yes,
down
yes.
from the ceiling like that. This green with yeah. And I'm like, what the? I was like, does anybody see that computer code downloaded into her? And nobody did. It was the craziest thing. Like, that was wild because usually they'll place it in you somewhere. But also, I heard Yvonne Wells. You might want to interview her too. She's really awesome because she
What's
makes
her name?
Yvonne Wells. She makes these organites, and I have this awesome
Okay.
organite wand, but it's not here that she made. She makes all different kinds of stuff, and it's Yvonne's Healing Arts. She has. She was telling me that Reiki was given to the original Reiki master because these ETs had screwed his life up. And it was insectilian rings. I hadn't heard about that, but that might be fascinating to hear from her. Because
Yes.
yeah, one of the original practitioners lived in Iowa here somewhere. Actually, somebody I know is living in that house. That'd be interesting to go there and see what that energy's like. And that's another weird thing. They have this Maharishis in Fairfield, Iowa. I've never been there, and I really need to go there. Because as soon as I got here, everything locked down. But yeah, that would a couple months later, and yeah. So I haven't really seen any of Iowa because I was kind of stuck in one place. And then somebody made it that way. Yeah.
So I was so is there different forms of Reiki?
Yeah, there's Karuna Reiki, there's Osui Reiki. I think Osui was the original one. There's
That's the only one I've heard of.
Huh?
That's the only one I've heard of. I didn't know about the other forms.
Well, some people say that Karuna is the best one to learn, but I don't know that one. But I do have a Karuna Reiki master that works on me, but I've never seen, and when she does Reiki, she channels, and she's a channeler anyway, but when she channels, she says, I'm going to step back, and her guy steps forward, and he looks like a druid. He's got this brown cloak, and it's got a hood, and has his apprentice with him, but his apprentice is her twin sister that passed away in utero. But they will work on me, and then I'll see other weird stuff like things come. Huh?
I had chills.
Yeah, it's weird because I don't do Reiki like that. She's a Karuna Reiki master, but she literally does channel it where she steps back and these two step up and I can see them and they're working on me. And also that one time where I was having an issue with looping thoughts from my trauma twin after we'd split, because I wanted those gone. I was like, can you help me with this? Because I know I've been working myself and I'm still hearing this V2K. I just can't. And so she was working on me, and then she's like, I'm stepping back, and she'll say hands, 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 and it's all her guides, and you'll feel all these hands all over you, but it's not in an inappropriate way, but it's like healing hands. And that was wild, because when she said there was this guy, and I think it was the old man, who was screaming at her, fucking stop, fucking stop. I'm like, can you see that guy? I was like, because he keeps shape shifting his uniforms, and he's a buzz cut, and it's brown, and then it's gray, and it's brown, and it's gray. And, you know, because his age is changing too. And he's screaming at her, stop fucking doing that. Whatever she was taking off of me, it was SSP related. And he was fucking mad. And she said she saw my trauma twin looking really upset and guilty about something. So yeah, there is black magic involved. So I don't know. Yeah, whoever that SSP military guy was, because he was in military, you know, American military uniform, he was pissed the fuck off that she was taking this cord off of me and disconnecting it. But there's a lot of black magic, and you can fight some of this with Reiki. You don't have to be a witch. You can be a healer and fight. There's also have to remember,
this is what I want to know.
is that like my friend Douglas Robertson was like, Susan, because I remember being a psionic super soldier, and sometimes they would keep us away from the regular like grunt soldiers because they didn't want them to know who we were. And that was another thing, I think, is why I wasn't allowed to have, I swear to God, we weren't allowed to have tattoos, because I still don't have any except the 1,000 that Mother Nature gave me. But where was I going with the SSP stuff? And then, yeah, and then I can't ask this person about what's going on because they're malignant narcissists. So it was like, what's the old man yelling at me for? And what was, there's so many questions that I have that go unanswered. And there's so many levels to the black magic and the bullshit they put on you, where they send these horrible people to dim your light, especially like after your light body activates fully, they're like white on rice. They're gonna and they're gonna start attacking you. And if you're going around with, you know, because I'm trying to go around, even if I'm angry, I'm not angry at the person, but I'm angry at what they did to us. Because I got my warrior side, and then I got my healer side, and then I got to try to walk the middle path through all this stuff, you know. And that same, yeah, that's and like my friend Douglas is like, Susan, you're Jean Grey. Look at this. And I said, what? I said, oh, maybe I am, because the cartoon changed as my body changed. And I remember doing the plasma thing, but also in the astral, that's why I was drawn to the holy fires. I'll throw fireballs at people because that's my element's fire. And I make this plasma aura, and it doesn't hurt me. It doesn't make me hot, but you'll just disintegrate if you touch it. But they had to come and get us with help. Well, at least me anyway, with the helmet on, because I could literally make their brains boil. That's how we would kill them. And you could also get inside their head and make them kill each other. So,
wow.
Yeah, I have memories. Like somebody said, well, what else did you teach at Montauk? I said, I probably taught you how to kill things with your mind, because I know I had to do that, but I don't want to remember, because I remember teaching hand-to-hand combat. I remember doing the dojo stuff, and I was always a jock, so I like any kind of movement calms me, you know. So when I was younger, more physical movement, and I still love yoga, and I like Tai Chi, and there's all kinds of, and swimming is, you know, something that'll take you out of your head, where you need to ground yourself, because this body sucks being in it a lot. But when you're doing yoga, I won't lie, but when you're doing yoga, you kind of, I don't know, for me anyway, because it's kind of like meditation. I kind of float out of it for a while. So my body's doing the movements, but my body's getting some release, but so is my brain because I get to go out of my body for a little while. That's how it feels. Because this shell is like too small to hold all this energy.
Yeah.
And I can literally feel that when people come activated and they're like, start my awakening. I don't know what the fuck's going on. This one guy going, and he was on so much Xanax, and I'm literally like I can see he didn't know why his PTSD didn't match his service in the military, and I can literally see all this weird black magic. Like he had this old cast iron belt on and it looked like a chastity belt. I had to go chip away at these pins and stuff that were in it, and somehow it was holding his root and his sacral chakra in a lock, so he could never be grounded, and I had to take that off, and that was something they put on him to fuck him up. And he's adopted too, but I know he's one of us because he had the red hair and green eyes too. And so he's a dragon. Yeah. and yeah. So you can, with energy work, take a lot of this stuff off, but then I also do, because I've seen black goo, and this little girl she was so cute, this little South American sweetie pie. And I had to go in there because it seemed like they were kidnapping her, and they put black goo in her uterus. I don't know what the heck they were doing, but I pulled her energy body on my table here, and I was taking my hand down, and I got my eyes closed, looking with my third eye, and I'm like, what the fuck? And it was like handfuls and handfuls of black tar like stuff I'm pulling out of her. And then I was like, fuck this. And I got my wands and I'm just burning this shit out of everything. But you have to remember that the healing, you also, if you can heal with your hands, you can kill with your hands. So you have to know but that's why I went for Reiki training, was to learn how to pinpoint it, and why I went to like psychic medium training, because here I'm getting messages like random for people I don't know, or I'm at church. Like I remember being at this Christian church one time, and I'm there by myself, and there's this strange guy in front of me, and I could tell he's sobbing, and his mom's standing next to her with curlers in her hair. And she's got her nightgown on, her house coat, whatever you call it, and her glasses, and she's like, tell him I'm okay. Tell him I'm okay. And I'm like, it's his mom, because she's crying because his mom passed away. And I'm like, oh my God. I was like, I can't have random spirits coming up to me in church going, please tell him I'm okay.
Oh
I'm like,
my goodness.
this ain't the time and the place. Just leave me be. And he was like, please. Because it's always made me embarrassed that I had this ability, and they're like, knock, knock, hey. And some of it, yeah, you have to put rules and boundaries on a lot of stuff. But like this room, they're allowed to come in and talk to me. And I've got this one crystal gridded, but they're not allowed to go in the rest of the house. And you have to be careful when you're doing distance stuff, because I remember telling Matthew with some of these SS people, because I did have somebody that wanted me to work on them, but wouldn't let me see them on camera, which is really freaking weird. And then he's telling me, oh, I'm floating around in your house, and your house is really pretty. I said, you didn't have permission to float around in my house. You have permission to be in my office and be treated, but no, don't be remote viewing in my fucking house. Yeah.
Wow.
Um,
I was wondering, so one of the things that I've found on my Reiki dig, I've heard that when you're a practitioner, like, and you're working on somebody, it actually helps you as well. Is that like, does that help, like, does it help you shift your energy or lift you up, or
well, then you have to use intent and make sure you're grounded, because
Mhm.
it's quicker to take the pain off and take it on yourself, but you don't want to do that, because I don't know if you're
Yeah.
like me, I got enough of my own pain, and one of my things is
Right.
when I connect to you, I feel your pain in my body as if it's mine, and I don't like that part because it's like, God, I
Yeah.
get it, just take it the fuck back. Because I remember taking a mediumship class, and I get this old lady. It was just me and her, and I'm like, okay. The guy starts talking to me, and then all of a sudden, I'm like, oh, he was making me feel his heart attack. I'm like, you motherfucker. And yes, that's not cool, man. You don't have to, like, I don't like these spirits that try to show you and make you feel in your body how they crossed over. That's freaking ignorant. So you had to learn how to put up boundaries and things like that. That's why I was taking classes, so I could learn how to stop, put up boundaries, things like that. Nobody's allowed to come in my bedroom and wake me up unless the house is on fire or there's something wrong with one of the kids or something. Yeah, you got to, because one day I was in here and I worked on this one lady, and she's funny because she'll only let me do Reiki. I'm not allowed to do anything else to her. And she had a ghost boyfriend with her that was from like the gold rush era. He was an old boyfriend, and he was just sitting there kind of with a Sam Elliott mustache in this rocking chair. And it was weird because like the one side of my room, it has windows because it's in shape of an octagon in here. But on the left side's where ghosts come in, and the right side's where people's ET guides come in that also
Oh my
saw.
goodness.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Because which reminds me of something else. I'll be right back.
Okay.
I'm right here. But anyways, like on the one side, like people are always complaining they never see any melanated ETs. Well, these guys
Oh,
showed up with this indigenous girl from Canada during the lockdown. And I found this Marsha's Divinity. She painted this. I was like, oh my God, I gotta have this print. She's on IG. She's a fantabulous artist. But these melanated ETs, the one that was with her, he was this big fella, and he was all inky black, and his freckles were stars. Like, see how mine are like 2D or whatever? His were
yeah, yeah.
3D, and light shone out of his stars.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
and it was real. He was so cool.
That was beautiful. I
Um,
wrote it.
so that's why I like doing Reiki sessions and energy work, because I never know what's going to happen next. It's usually cool stuff. I mean, I have seen a demon popped off a one lady one time, but it was man, it was, yeah, I was perturbed. I could see it. But
Yeah, this
yeah, it was on an Eastern Star, and I'm like, what the hell? So now, um, it made me feel kind of weird that the Eastern Stars were checking my magic out, but I also thought, well, okay, they must be impressed with it if they're sending their whole family in because they messed up and got some attachments doing their magic. So yeah.
yeah, this is not the stuff that I've been hearing about in my in my deep dives. This is cool. Like like I like I wouldn't get into it expecting it, but now that you've put out like that's a possibility. That's really cool.
Yeah, like be careful, because that lady had cancer, and she came in and she had this demon with her was in the room. And yeah, I was like, who are you? Because I've never seen anything, because it looked 2D and it looked like Gumby almost. So it was black construction paper was what it looked like, and it looked like a cardboard cutout, like standing there. It was as tall as me, and I'm like, who are you? Because it didn't look like shadow people, but different. You can see through them. But I couldn't see through this guy. And it's like, who are you? And he pretended like he didn't hear me, and I know he heard me. And I said, what are you doing here? And he said, observing. But first, all he had was these two pinprick eyes of light, like little tiny pen lights. And then when I asked him what he was doing, he tried to get aggressive with me and made him red. And I just smack talked him because from being a cop, and I was like, they try hard, motherfucker, because that doesn't scare me. And They get mad. They're like, dang it, I didn't scare her. I failed. So he left because then they got to leave. I'm like, you can't, no. With this lady, and then she's like, oh, I feel so much better. I said, I bet you do. You had a full-on demon was like hanging. I've never even seen anything like that before. But yeah, some of the guides that come in, one of my clients had this huge lichen that's with her, but the guides never look at me. They'll be looking at their purse and they'll watch what I'm doing. They'll stand over the table and like, what are you doing to my purse?
Aw.
And like the one the other day that was with her, I was like, what is your problem? Because you like flew in like a bat. And I was like, what the fuck is with the bat? I said, this bat just flew in here. And now it turned into this, it looks like the Grim Reaper. And now it turned into kind of the like Korean K-pop looking, I don't know, fairy thing. It's got brown hair and brown eyes. And I said, and now it's telling me that it's a fae, and it's like, you know how we are about our people. We are very protective, and I'm very protective. So that's why I'm watching. And I said, well, do you want him here? And I said, because he's fucking with me now. He's like, you know how we are about our people. I said, I know. Anytime I work on somebody, that's my person, and you're not going to interfere with them because we're going to be fighting. And because I don't get scared. So he was trying to hit up my empathy. You know how we are about our people. Because she said he'd actually was so jealous, this entity, that it would cause some issues when her and her husband had a child. But now supposedly it's calmed down. So we were talking, and I was like, do you want him gone? She said, so we had a chat. I'm curious to see what happens after that. But
No,
yeah,
I'm appreciating this because you've given me an indicator that I'm on the right track with my questions. I So when you were talking about the um the different entities, and then like we were saying about it being easier just to take on their energy and pull it out and take it on yourself. Um, so I'm an industrial sewing machine operator. So I get paid to sew, and I absolutely love my job. So that's actually how I get a lot of my information. I'm like, while I'm sewing, that's when I'm doing deep dives on things. That's how I found out about the podcast. And so I was actually listening to a book on audio, and it was Reiki for Empaths by Lisa Campion. And she was talking about a lot of stuff too, and then she was talking about how she and from what I'm understanding, this is the way, like you pull in your energy from source, and you're basically like a conduit. Like it's you aren't really using your energy. You're pulling it in from source and then transferring it over. Is that?
that's how I do it, because that's how my, the one that the talk therapist, the psychologist sent to me, that had the home invasion that we were talking about before we started recording. She saw because I'm pulling the golden light down, and yeah, I'm putting it into her, and she saw it. She's like, is your golden light going into your crown? I'm like, mm-hmm. And then it comes out of my hands. And she was like, oh, and yeah, it startled me because I didn't realize the things that I was manifesting in my mind people could see to heal her. I was like, that's pretty wild.
Okay, so that's a thing. See, I'm this is the stuff that I'm kind of waiting for, because I've been setting the intention with different things, because I know we're powerful. I know we have abilities that we like many of us don't know about. I have no idea. Like I know there's some like psychic intuition within me. Like there's been some stuff, but I don't know what else there is. And so I basically approach life Like I'm expecting one day, or I approach it in a just in case mindset. So, like I was telling you about being at my spinning wheel, like before we started the show. So last night, in our community, there was Matthew Mornian was on the Typical Skeptic podcast, and so just in case people missed this, he was psychically attacked, and he he went off air for a little bit, and then he decided, like, he's like, no, I'm not going to let this thing win. And so he actually came back, and he took the opportunity, like he just turned it around. So he was talking about like what it's like what to look for psychic attacks and stuff, which was so valuable for us newbies. But anyway, where I was going with that, I went, when I heard about this happening, I went right away to my spinning wheel, because I don't know what power my spinning wheel has, but I know intention is very powerful. And I also know about the part about pulling energy in from source and being a conduit and distributing it. So my logical brain said, maybe if I'm doing this at my spinning wheel, maybe it'll have more of an impact. I don't know. But so I'm just waiting for the day to come where I actually see like a physical manifestation of the loving and healing energy that I've sent out.
Is there water outside, like outside of your residence, like a pond or something?
No.
Okay. Because I see you because when you're at the spinning wheel, that's where your magic happens, and you can like spring load the spinning wheel. You can suck energy in from the universe till it's full, like I'll do with my pendulum, where I know the person's full of my energy, and then you can, I can see you doing that. But also, what's your connection with water? Because I keep seeing you like stand there and there's rocks, and it's almost like Viking kind of looking, and you're just spinning and you're manifesting stuff. Once you pull enough energy in there, spin
So
wheels, man.
could be two potentials. Um, the first one I really hope is right. We have our eyes on a property in northern Alberta that has a cistern and a pond on it. So hopefully in the very near future, that maybe that's the water. The other thing, like, I am absolutely drawn to water. And when we were on our honeymoon, I initially put my spinning wheel in the truck, hoping that we would find a trail and end up at the river. But I ended up leaving my spinning wheel at home, because I figured I would be overwhelmed. And it that's what happened. We found this trail and it was beautiful, and I just wanted to go hug trees and stuff. And if I had brought my spinning wheel, I think it would have been too much energetically.
I keep seeing you on the back porch with your, spinning, and you're sending your energy to whoever needs it across the water. So that makes,
She's seeing
there's
the
a lot of
gray.
there's a lot of gray stones out there. Because
Gray
it's got a
stone.
back. There's gray stones on the ground near the pond, and there's like a little small black. There's little. It's not that big, the deck on the back, but it's wide enough that you can put a spinning wheel on it and look towards the water.
Any chance that would Dawn thinks you might be describing the camp? And if you could actually, you see my background? That's on the
Yeah.
deck at the camp.
Okay.
But I don't have access to it anymore.
You're sitting in front of the spinning wheel. I didn't know there was a spinning wheel behind.
Yeah, it's my spinning wheel.
Like, why not seeing the spinning wheel on the deck in front of the water? Oh, it's behind you. Okay.
So that would have been what you saw then, because that would have been back in the summer of 2020. I was sitting on the deck, and yeah, uh there's a rock face across the lake, and then like there's one behind me, and yeah, I was sitting, the deck is the deck there is not that big, so that could very well be.
Yeah, because it was narrow. But I don't remember seeing I don't remember seeing the railing there. So maybe this is something coming in the future.
Farm. I'm okay with that. So one so I was curious, so did you with Dolores Cannon, did you do her course?
No, I did the quantum trance because Dolores was picky about you couldn't do it on Zoom. You had to do it in person.
Yes,
I
yes,
would
yes.
rather do it in person. But I can do them on Zoom. You just have to be in the right mindset because I mean I did have one lady come in and she wanted one that, but she was taking some medicine for schizophrenia. It's not funny, but it makes you not see things. And part of walking you under to get you
Mhm.
in the theta state is you have to visualize things
Yeah.
because you're going to go, view your own Akashic records and you have to be able to get into that state. And if they're on something that's blocking them being able to, visualize anything, you can't do it. And I had one lady just like, she's a control freak and she would not, I tried 3 times, I could not get her under to save my soul. And then because she was fighting it the whole time. But then I had some really good ones from local people. Like I want this one guy to check out. He remembers being a gangster in the 60s, and he remembered his name and which crime family he worked for. I was like, we can look that up. So
Wow.
and
That's cool.
somebody was supposed to go do a hit on, so that would be pretty fascinating. But I haven't actually seen people talk about SSP stuff, and the ones I've done will talk about past lives, fleeing other planets, but no SSP stuff.
Dawn, Dawn standing here. I don't know. Do you know the story of his awakening?
No.
Okay, I'm not going to name names, but he's been down that road. Um he was put under regression, and that's actually what jolted him awake, like what woke him up.
Mhm.
And after his session, so what had happened, he'd had a bunch of nightmares. Well, he'd always been restless, like a restless sleeper, and I'd say probably about 6 months before his awakening, I basically had to duck when when we were in bed, because if I touched him, it was, and it is not in his character at all. Like but if I touched him, he'd be swinging, and just had to. If I had to wake him, it had to be very gentle from a distance. And then he was getting nightmares, and they got really really bad, and so that's when I told him, like, I've been going on a podcast deep dive, and I'd actually heard the Arkeem Raw was on Typical Skeptic. And so I told him, like, you have to listen to this. Like, he was not into podcasts at all. Like, the irony of all of this is just hilarious. But anyway, he listened to Arkeem, and he's like, oh my goodness. Like, a lot of the of what Arkeem talked about was parallel. Like, he doesn't believe he's from Montauk. Like um but that so then um he was connected with a therapist, and I use the term loosely. um she she put him under further regression, and it worked, and it just, something popped him open, and after the session he wouldn't shut up for 4 days and drove me crazy. But yeah, so he's been under, so this individual actually, he was working with them for a while, and they would put him under, and they would go investigate around like different missions and things like that. And he's actually looking for a redo because that ended up, well, I'll I'll tell you my experience with this individual. So they started doing group regressions, and they had this vision of, um, how would you describe it? Like interstellar, interdimensional travel.
Interdimensional, transdimensional travel.
Yeah, so interdimensional, like transdimensional travel on this spaceship that she was piloting. And so I think there was three of us under that day.
Yeah.
And anyway, I was getting upset about something, and so I told, like, I told them I needed to end it. And because, like, and I didn't want to, like, that was the end of sessions for me until I did some of my own healing. And anyway, this person wouldn't take me out of the trance. And Don even remembers, like, his higher stepped in and said she needs to come back. And they kept me under for an extra 20 minutes. And I don't know if it was, like, he said 20 minutes. I don't know if it was 20 minutes, but basically I wanted out, and they wouldn't let me out. And but I'm going to say that that is not normal, and I've actually had another session since with a different individual with very different results.
I want to do a regression because I mean, last time I was regressed was when I was training, and I did go back and, like, I remember having a memory with of being back in Ireland. This was, I don't know, this is probably 800 years ago. I'm not sure, but at low tide, my little friends would come over, and he would hang out with me. And I remember he just had to poke this man of war on the beach with his hand, and I told him not to touch the man of war that would sting, the crap out of him. And then I had to go take him to the healer, but that's all I could remember. Well, when I did my regression, I was trying to grab onto that memory. And when I took him to the healer was my great grandma that was Faye like me. And she said, "I've been waiting for you." So I'm like, okay. So now my great grandma's showing up going, "Okay, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing." Yeah, I'm supposed to be making all these natural medicines and helping people. So
That's so
that was pretty cool, because she kept trying, because sometimes you'll be in that memory, and I'm just looking around and listening. She kept asking me questions. I remember saying to her, "Hold on, I'm still talking to my great grandma." But mine almost feel like a more remote viewing till I don't know, that's kind of what it feels like to me when I go under. But I want to go under again, because I just have questions about a lot of weird shit that went down. So
yep. But okay, what?
Introduce your bill.
Oh, yes. So I do have a contact for you if you're interested. Send you. I can forward his information to you if you like. His name's Phil Warder. He's only he's only started his business, but he's been I've had this. So when I said about having a session with him, I had a session with him. That was my redo from the bad experience that I had. And he was awesome. And he knew about my experience, but he made it very clear if I was feeling uncomfortable, I could pull the plug at any time. And so he asked me what I what I wanted to know. And what I wanted to know was in regards to I have texture issues, and I can I'm not allergic to various foods, but if like an apple, for example, if I try to eat an apple, it makes me sick to my stomach. But if there's apple flavoring or if it's crushed up or whatever, I'm okay with it. And it's same with strawberries. Crushed strawberries, not a problem, but like an actual strawberry. So I asked him if he could, if we could explore that. And anyway, long story short, it came back to a childhood trauma. Um, they, my mom had started me on solids too soon, and my father was not kind about it when I was kicking up a fuss. So, but what came from that though is that he was able to help me rewire, because I've been getting like I've been concerned about um like there's a lot of healthy food that I haven't been able to eat, and I worry about my body. And so this was something that I wanted to take on. So he absolutely helped me through that, and I've actually been trying different things with success.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Okay, well, is there anything else that you would like to say or talk about, or okay.
I don't know. I had a good time talking with you, but I think we we talked
That's
about a
yeah.
lot of
Oh,
stuff.
it's been an absolute blast, Susan. I can't thank you enough. So, if you want to tell everybody where they can find you, and we are going to include any and all links that you would like in the description as well, that would be awesome.
Um, well, my website for my massage modalities is divineconnections.amta, and then Divine Boutique without the E on the end of it. So it's more like Divine Boutique on Etsy, but I'm looking for different options. Um, yeah, I want to have all my stuff on one website and not have to pay all these. Etsy's fees are insane, you know?
That's one of the reasons. Okay, I wasn't going to get into this, but I will get into this. That's one of the fees. And then, so for me with the fiber arts, like I mostly crochet and do some knitting. Um, there was no point for me because I was like a tiny little fish in a great big huge pond. And then my best friend, who also has an Etsy shop, she was saying something about trying to pass the shipping costs onto the vendors.
Yeah, they were
And
trying to do that before Christmas, and it's like, are you kidding? Because you've already, just to ship one small item, it's $4.80. That's usually the cheapest you can do it in a crappy little bag. And if I'm gonna sell, I'd like to use the flat rate boxes. I don't know if you have those in Canada, but I started just like, oh, I want $20 for my product, and I'll add the $4.80 on for shipping and say shipping's included. I'm like, whatever, I can't. What did I sold one item the other day? What was it? $39. And then I looked to see what I got, and it was $17. And I was like, I don't even think I made any money off of this.
yeah, that's not worth it. No. Well, I'll tell you, I'm digging for alternatives too, and I would like to start like a non-woke at Etsy. Where, like the other issue that I had with them is the reselling, because as far as I understood, like Etsy initially started out to be handmade, like it was handmade, and then they expanded into vintage, which okay, I can kind of see that, but now there's garbage on there. It's not handmade. Like they've
Yeah,
got
that's
people. Yeah, and so I don't even I will buy things off of it, like if there's good sales and stuff. I have no problems, and I've always had good experiences like anytime I bought things off of Etsy, but I will not be a vendor. It's not worth it. but I am looking for alternatives, and if I run across anything, I will definitely keep you in the loop, because I have a whole whack of inventory sitting in my house right now that could be listed somewhere, but I won't put it on Etsy because no, they're not going to profit off of my hard work.
Yeah, and then I guess I need to go out and vend at local places, but shoot, I'm out here in the Midwest and with the food prices and stuff going up. I mean, people come out to stuff, but they're not really buying anything, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the unfortunate part. Have you thought of consignment shops?
Um, actually, um, actually there's a local tattoo shop and he wants to go boutique, so he just gave me this big shelf, one of those A-frame ones, but it needs to be painted. But I'm sitting here trying to load up my goodies because I, sold some stuff, and then I sold out an Anna Wild Jam Cream, so he's putting that in his tattoo shop because I already made the tattoo sass for him. He says they like them.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, because that's the other thing is learning your herbs and stuff. I had to
Yeah,
say, well, what does it feel like when you get a tattoo? Is it burning? Is it itching when it's healing? So I'm like, okay, what herbs do I need? So
that's cool. That's cool. Okay, well, thank you again, and I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Um, I'm gonna keep on keeping on. Things have been a little hectic with work and energy balance and all that stuff, which is one of the reasons why I do this show, is because I'm trying to find energy balance for myself, and if I find it, I want to share it with everybody else. So thank you again for tuning in, and we'll see you again next time.